You know that your partner needs help, but they won't get it. Maybe they drink too much, maybe they're abusive, maybe they lie and cheat, or maybe they just don't know how to be in a relationship with you, and you know that they really need help, but they absolutely refuse to go. They say everything is your fault, you need therapy, you need help, you need counseling, not me. That is such a common theme amongst my clients and the people that email me and contact me in other ways. How do I get my partner to get help? I know they need help. Maybe they're sick and they won't get help. Maybe they're stressed and they won't get help. They just push you away, say everything's your fault, you're the crazy one, you're seeing things that are not real, and you need to go and get the help. They're managing fine, there's nothing wrong with them, they know how to manage their lives, and they don't need you to tell them how to do it, and if you are not happy, then you go get the help. So what do you do in situations like these? It's really tricky, because there is your gut instinct. You do know that something's wrong. Maybe you don't know all the exact ins and outs and all the details and who's to blame and all the rest of it, but you know that your loved one needs some professional, objective perspective, some support, some help that you have not been able to give. Maybe you've already tried, you've compromised, you've given them articles to read, you've sat and listened to them, you've tried to help them quit their addictions or whatever it might be, to manage their money better, anything, and you failed, and you feel totally at their mercy now, that you are now being impacted by their refusal to take their issues seriously and get help. Well, here's something that you can do about it. First of all, think about how it would be for you when your partner says, you're the one that's crazy, you need help. How does it feel to you? I bet you get shocked, you want to defend yourself, you want to challenge them, you want to cut their heads off, you want to attack them for daring to suggest that you are not okay. And that's pretty normal. It's a definitely normal expression of a threat to who you are, your identity, your perspective on the world, and how you operate on the world. Nobody wants to think that they're sick, there's something wrong with them, they're crazy, they can't manage themselves, and so on. So when you think about that, that's exactly how your loved one feels, whether it's a partner, a parent, a sibling, a niece, a friend, a cousin, whoever it might be. That's exactly how they feel. So if you go at them that way, what you actually do is put the walls up even higher, and they make deeper and deeper defenses, so that each time you try, you are met with even more resistance and defense. So let me tell you a story about two clients that I had who were in this boat and how I helped them. First one came to me after she had tried everything to help her partner, who was extremely abusive, verbally, physically, emotionally. He would call her names, he would be physically very rough with her, and put her down whenever he could. He was demeaning and humiliating. And she tried everything. She tried to understand him, she tried to figure out where this was coming from, she tried to please him, but nothing worked. So in the end, she would get so angry and upset that she would just say he was crazy. She would threaten to leave him if he didn't get help, because he was a bad guy and he needed to do something about it. Well, of course he didn't. And the relationship was so miserable that this client finally came to me because she couldn't stand it anymore. She loved her partner, but she couldn't tolerate being with him. And this is very common in an abusive relationship. So what I said to her was, you are the one suffering right now. No matter what your partner's issue is, he is not apparently suffering. You are. So in that moment, you need support, You need understanding. You need to be held and contained through the suffering if you want to stay in the relationship. So it's not about a competition between who's crazy and who isn't, who's bad and who's good, who's ugly and who's beautiful, who needs help and who doesn't. It's about the reality of where you are. If you can't tolerate your partner's behavior, illness, issues, addictions, denials, whatever they might be, then you're the one that actually needs some support. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It means you're asking for ways in which you can get through this period of time where you want to stay in the relationship, but you don't want to have to constantly be fighting to get your partner to use the resources that are available to deal with their issues. In the end, my client felt stronger because I gave her techniques of how to manage her partner's denial, his refusal, his walls, his defenses. And she felt stronger so that whatever his issues were and however much he abused her and demeaned her and humiliated her, she developed a skin around her that kept her safe. It doesn't mean she didn't get hurt. It doesn't mean she didn't feel upset and rejected and angry and fearful and all the rest of it. But she kept her feet on the ground. And that by itself gave her partner enough security, because that's what it takes. It takes security in the relationship to finally admit that, yes, I have some issues that I need to resolve, and I'm going to get the help to do it. So that's one way of managing to get your partner to finally accept and deal with the issues, by making yourself strong and resilient against their behaviors and addictions and abuses and denials, so that you're showing them a model. You are modeling for them what they need to do by showing how much stronger you can be and how much more available you are in the relationship. You're not rejecting, you're not threatening, you're not being abusive back. You're standing your ground, but you're not being pushed into the mud either. So when you get support and encouragement and holding and tools and strengthening, you get to manage something. And by doing that, you teach your partner, yes, maybe they can manage this too, because they're in as much distress as you are, except that they're denying the cause of it or where it's coming from. You already knew where it was coming from. It was coming from your partner's inability, refusal, denial to accept and deal with their issues. So that's one way. Let me tell you about another client who kept finding himself in a position where his partner and loved one kept threatening to leave him all the time because he was wanting to go binge drinking and having sex whenever and wherever he felt like it. It didn't matter. He was supposed to just be there for her when she wanted it. He was supposed to provide for her and take care of her and just be accepting of whatever she wanted. And this was very, very disturbing to him. He tried several times to help her, but each time he tried, it wouldn't work. And then she'd have periods where she would get sick. And it might be just a cold or a bit of flu or some aches and pains, or she'd have something of a more long-standing nature, which required him to attend to her in a more loving and concerned way. That was the only time when the two of them agreed on anything, that she was sick and he needed to help her. So what I suggested to my client was that he come to get some support, encouragement, help, and understanding about his unbelievably complex conflict. He loved her. He didn't want her to die. He didn't want her to become sick and get STDs and be abused by all the men she was seeing and all her drinking and binging, all that. So he didn't want all that. He didn't want to see her become anorexic from time to time, or to become bulimic from time to time. But that's what she was doing. So I said, why don't you come first? Let me help you understand some of the problems that she's having that make her continue this behavior. And he very reluctantly did that. He was so stressed that he couldn't manage his life. He couldn't work. He couldn't think. He was scared. He didn't know what to do. And eventually he came and I helped him with his stress and to calm down. Once I showed him the connection between her sickness and him getting concerned and loving, rather than accusing her of needing help, it clicked with him. And slowly, he was able to encourage her to come with him, not instead of him, not make her the bad person, make her the sick person, the crazy person, the mentally ill person, or anything like that, but saying, look, I'm stressed out and I'm getting some help. I really get to understand how you and I work together, and I want to include you because you're important to me. And it worked. She came with him, and slowly, as she trusted and felt safe and began to understand how her sickness brought him to her, that helped her feel that she really could do with some individual help to have a more healthy relationship where she didn't have to be sick or promiscuous or binge or starve or abuse herself just in order to get him to love her in a way that showed her how concerned he was. So these are two ways in which you can get your loved one to come and get the therapy, the counseling, the support, the encouragement, the stress management that they need. Come yourself to get your stress managed and model it for them. That's number one. Second is you do yours first instead of having a competition about who's bad and who's crazy and who needs help and who doesn't, because all that does is have a competition about who's bad and who isn't, and nobody's going to get anywhere. So the first one is to model it for them by going and getting help yourself and getting strong so that you can manage things and let them follow you. Second one is come and understand in therapy and in counseling why you're getting so anxious and stressed about your relationship and why you can't get through to your partner. Understand the dynamics between the two of you, and then invite your partner to come with you, not instead of you. And those techniques are the most effective, efficient, and consistent, because you don't want your partner to just come once or go once and pay lip service and then disappear. So these are the two most efficient ways of getting your partner to accept, to admit, to own their share of their issues, and to accept and get help and use it on a consistent, regular, long-term basis, so that not only do they become more healthy, but that your relationship becomes more solid and secure. But the only way your partner is going to feel secure and going to get help is if you go first and manage the stress of your relationship. It doesn't mean you're mad or crazy, but you're very stressed. That's a reality. So if you do it and then invite them in or model it for them, they will come and your relationship will become the good, nurturing experience that you want it to be. You will enjoy emotional and physical intimacy. You will thrive. You will develop. And you will then be able to help each other instead of blaming each other and accusing each other of being sick. So now do me a favor and let me know how you like this video. What did you think of these two methods? Have you tried them? Have you heard about them before? Is it exciting for you? Does it fill you with hope and enthusiasm? Please let me know what you think. Try them out. Give me some feedback. Let me know what other problems you have. And let's see if I can help you with that.